We start off with something healthy today. Support comes from Brickhouse Whey Protein. Now listen, I've tried a lot of protein powders over the years. Most of them didn't really do a thing. They didn't help me build muscle, didn't give me more energy, didn't even improve my workouts, just left me bloated or quite frankly disappointed. But then the doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition explained why. Most powders are loaded with poor quality protein and cheap fillers, stuff like soy, corn syrup, sodium, cellulose. No wonder they don't work. Brickhouse Whey is different. It's bioengineered by doctors, not marketers, and it delivers results you actually feel. Professional level muscle growth, real strength, a lean physique, faster recovery. And the best part, it's lactose free, so no bloating or stomach issues. Don't let junk protein sabotage how you look and feel. Switch to Brickhouse Whey, guaranteed results or your money back. So go to thenewway.com and use the promo code LEMON for 20% off. That's thenewway.com, promo code LEMON, the new WHEway.com, promo code LEMON. Hello, good morning, everybody. Hello, Lemonheads. Welcome. We started with something healthy, and we needed it. And I hope you have your coffee, 10 a.m. I hope you had a great weekend as well. The coffee is good. In the Don Lemon Show mug. I hope you have your mug this morning. If you do, send us a photograph. I'm going to get some of the pictures up. As a matter of fact, just before we get to it, we have some photographs. I don't know if you got it. Did you get those in, Andy, of some of the lemon heads with their Lemon Nation stuff on? Just since we're here, you can show it.
And then one.
There we go. Oh, yes. And her name was in the email, but I'll have to go back. If you can find it, Nikki, or whatever, go back and we'll find it. But anyways, old people be knowing. The Don Lemon Show.
Robbie Smith.
Huh?
Robbie Smith.
Robbie Smith. Where's Robbie from? Do we know?
I do not.
All right.
Robbie, if you're here.
Yeah.
Tell
I
us.
do this, but it's serious. I have this one friend. She goes, I hate it when you wear the hat. I kind of like my hat. Do you guys like it or no? Tell me if you like it. I'll put it on. If not, I won't. But anyways, where are we sending them? We have an email. There's a show email, Nikki, right? That people go to.
Yes, there is.
Is it public now? Do we have it?
I can put it up, but it is the donlemonshow@gmail.com. But I will put that in the chat as well.
So there's your answer. It's the donlemonshow@gmail.com. How about that? So no hat. Love the hat. Okay, I love it. If you guys like the hat, tell me. If you don't, then I won't. So anyway, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you. I'm so proud of the Lemon Nation. You know, I try to give you some mental health days. A lot of folks, especially out here in these streaming streets, they will post a lot of stuff over the weekends. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, because what I'm trying to do is give you a break, because I believe that mental health is extremely important. And I'm trying to give you a break from the madness that is out there, because, you know, as I always say, you can be informed without being inundated. So if there are things that I think that you need to know, if it's really big news, then of course I will bring it to you. You guys know that. So this is the thing. All right, wear the hat on Friday, they said. All right, maybe I'll wear the hat a little bit here before we get to the news. So, you know, so I try to give you that little bit of mental health break. And yeah, as I said, of course, I will bring you stuff when it is urgent on the weekends. I did not, well, we talked about, you know, on Friday, Donald Trump came away with nothing, this whole summit. I told you it was a distraction. I told you it was BS. That he's doing this because he's got Epstein derangement syndrome. He's really concerned about the headlines at Epstein. And so he's trying whatever he can. And the media's falling for it. They're covering this. And everybody knew. I mean, you guys knew, didn't you? You're not crazy. You knew that this whole Putin meeting was going to be nothing. You knew when he was clapping like a circus monkey on the tarmac that it was all BS. You knew that, right? You knew that it was just BS. Oh, thank you, Kia Fair, if you love my new background. It's one of the ones that we used to use when we first started Hot Topics in the studio. This is our studio, one of our studio backgrounds. And so anyways, so you knew that. You knew that the moment that Putin on American soil led off the press conference following this summit, you knew that it was bad, because the protocol is that the host country is supposed to lead it off. Nope. Putin got up there and did his thing. Everyone just kind of laughed at him, and meaning Donald Trump. That Putin walked him like a dog is basically what he did. He walked Donald Trump like a dog. Like Donald Trump said about Abu Ghraib, he died like a dog. Putin walked Donald Trump like a dog. So now that that is over, nothing is happening. You heard, oh, by the way, guys, can you guys please give me the Marco Rubio, I forgot, Marco Rubio soundbite on Meet the Press where she plays his own words for him. Didn't shave this morning. He plays his own words for him. That's why I give myself a break too. No shave every day. And find that for me because Marco Rubio is like, well, there's nothing happened in this summit, and I love it. Marco Rubio looks like his soul has been sucked out of him, or that he just decided, he just gave up. He's like, I've sold my soul to the devil, and so therefore I'm just gonna deal with it. It doesn't matter anymore. I believe that's the deal right now with Marco Rubio. I just think he's like, I've sold out, and that's it. It's too bad. It's too bad. Yeah, he just gave up. I mean, do you guys ever look at him and see what he looks like? He really looks like someone he's just defeated. So now that that is behind us, I'm going to get to the real story. The real story, if you guys know, the real story is about these thugs that are patrolling Washington, D.C. Donald Trump's jackbooted thugs are out in force in Washington, D.C., defying all kinds of protocol and perhaps the law, no due process. For some reason, there was a moped driver, a food delivery person this weekend that they stopped. And it was just all out embarrassing what they're doing. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. So let me just tell you, because this is also very important, right? Okay. So Vladimir Zelensky and European leaders are going to be meeting with Donald Trump today. They're going to face off this highly anticipated summit in Alaska. No, sorry, they're meeting here, but this is after the highly anticipated summit in Alaska. We'll see what happens. The folks who are going to attend this meeting, let's see who all is going to be here. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is set to return to the Oval Office on Monday. So this will happen on the Oval Office. Remember, the last time he was here, did not go so well. They beat him up. J.D. Vance was awful to him. Donald Trump was awful to him. Why aren't you apologizing? Why aren't you more humble? The stupid Marjorie Taylor boyfriend, Trump sycophant, bootlicker, asked him, why aren't you wearing a suit? It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. So Vladimir Zelensky, president of Ukraine, is going to be at the White House today. Trump called this Monday's meeting after the summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday did not go well. He rejected everything, a ceasefire, called on Ukraine to cede land to in a country's east in exchange for a freeze in the front line elsewhere. And so nothing happened. What's changed? Nothing really. The Trump administration recently expressed support for security guarantees, but Russia has presented sweeping territorial demands. Who's involved in this? Zelensky is going to be accompanied to Washington this time by allies, including the leaders of the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, and European Union, also NATO. None of them expected to be in the room during the Trump and Zelensky Oval Office meeting, however. This is, in modern times, the biggest U.S. meeting with European allies, and probably the most important. And look, if something comes out of it, give it credit. I hope something comes out of it, because the war in Ukraine needs to stop. Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz will be there. French President Emmanuel Macron will be there. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer will be there. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni will be there. Finnish President Alexander Stubb will be there. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Secretary General of NATO Mark Rutte. Those are the folks who are going to be at this meeting. So this is a huge meeting that's going to happen today. Do you guys think anything is going to come out of it? I think the Europeans need to flex their muscles. I agree. Whoever said that in the comments. I think that they need to pressure Donald Trump to get on board because he appears to be the only one who's not. He appears to be the only one who's bowing to Vladimir Putin. Everyone thought it was going to be Georgia Maloney, and she's been standing up to Russia, to Russian aggression in Ukraine. So we'll see what happens at that meeting. So I just wanted to tell you that's important. You need to know that it's happening. That's cable news. That's going to play out on cable news. So let's talk about the bullshit that's going on in Washington, D.C. Did you guys see this shit over the weekend? Where this guy is out on a moped delivering stuff. Now, we showed you, put up the Washington Post thing. We showed you last week when, Trump's goons, that's who they are, goon squad. When Trump's goons went out on the streets and they were harassing these people sitting on a porch, and that is not legal, right? If you're sitting on no one can say, I need to see your identification. If you're sitting on your own property and there's no cause for it. There's no probable cause for it. That's unconstitutional. But it doesn't seem to matter for this administration. So federal officers over the weekend, did you guys see this? Wait till you see it. And we're going to talk, I'm pissed off about this, right? And I hate that word. I hate saying pissed off. That word just sounds gross to me. Federal officers detained, tackle moped driver amid Trump DC police crackdown. 6 agents wearing police vests without clear identification of their agencies detained a man they later identified as a Venezuelan national in Northwest Washington. That's what they're saying it is. He is. But was there any probable cause? There's also, by the way, a soundbite of Marco Rubio talking about nothing came out of that summit, by the way. If you guys, I believe it's the same program, if you guys can get that one as well. They're saying this is a Venezuelan national. What does that mean? Why were they stopping him? If the man is just out delivering food, then what's their problem? Now imagine that this was your family member, your son, your daughter, your whomever. And there is absolutely no probable cause for any of this shit. What do you do? What would you do? And why aren't people fighting back to this? What can we do in these situations? That's what needs to be discussed. Scrolling to the article a little bit before I show you the video because it made me so angry this morning. I need to calm down. Federal agents detained a food delivery driver as he emerged from a Northwest Washington coffee shop Saturday morning, an incident captured on video by numerous witnesses, including a Washington Post reporter. We're going to have that reporter either on this program or a little bit later on in the day. The Washington Post reported that showed the officer tackling him to the ground, holding him down, and appearing to use a stun gun before driving away in an unmarked black vehicle, driving him away, taking the man away. Now, I want you guys to know that this is happening in some of the most Tony exclusive neighborhoods, trendy neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., supposedly where all of that crime was supposedly taking place is in the hood, so to speak, as they say. I'm just trying to break it down to vernacular for it. I don't like that hood thing, but you know what I'm talking about. All of the neighborhoods where the blacks and browns are, instead of they appear to be going to the fancy Tony neighborhoods, but they're still arresting black and brown people, except for the sandwich guy. He's a white guy. So these are the neighborhoods where it is. Look at and how close to the White House it is. Back up to the beginning of this, to the top of this, please. Verified locations of federal troops and law enforcement within D.C. And then they can tell you where they are, where the Border Patrol is, where the Secret Service, where the DEA, where the U.S. Marshals are, ICE, DHS, National Guard, and multiple agencies. This is where they are right now. They're in the fancy neighborhoods. Now, this one thing was a takedown right in a neighborhood that is, there's a big trendy political spot there called Lead Diplomat, I'm not a fan. I mean, it's DC. Here's the thing. It's very DC. Like if it was in New York, people would be like, I'm not going to that joint. But it's DC. So DC is different, right? They're not as Francois as New York. Not as, maybe New York is a little bit, not even elitist, but New York is New York. In New York, if you got to be really good to trend and pop in New York. DC, it's below the Mason-Dixon line. It's still kind of the South. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. They are only arresting black and brown people in these white neighborhoods, though. In these fancy neighborhoods. Mostly white, not all white. You guys get what I'm saying. Camille, you're right. And so they're going and they're arresting. They're arresting the people who are delivering to people, obviously, who have means to be able to afford delivery. But they're like, oh, you look Latino. Are you supposed to be here? Show me your identification, or just get on the ground, or they just tackle you. Now, which one do we play first? You want to play the longer version first, guys? I forget which one you told me to play first. So this is the video. I want you guys to sit back because it really ticked me off. I had to calm down. So this is the first video I want you to see. And this one has the font is on the screen, okay? So it's transcribed and you can look at it right on the screen. And this is happening again in a very nice neighborhood in Washington, D.C. We don't know what this person did, if they have any criminal record. We don't know what the cause is. We don't know. We know it doesn't appear to be any due process. And the way that these jackbooted thugs speak to these people, they feel like they can do this with impunity. They're not accountable to anyone. Okay, are you guys ready? So, I saw what someone said in the comments, and you guys know that I've been saying this because this is my concern. That someone said in the comments, and I just want to see, has anyone talked about their Second Amendment rights? That was, remember when I look, I don't want any violence, but I'm afraid that this is going to spark violence. It's going to incite violence. And the Second Amendment is about a well-armed militia in case your government does things that's illegal, in case they try to overturn the Constitution or the will of the people. And so that is my concern, because that could be someone in the comments, I forget who it was, it said, did someone test the Second Amendment rights or something like that? It went by me on the comments. If you can find it, guys, put it up there. But that was my concern, because this seems to be test cases for that. And it might actually be constitutional and would hold up in court. I'm just saying. Okay, so everybody sit back, and I don't want you to get infuriated this morning, but I am infuriated, and I think you will be too, okay? So here we go.
Fuck you. Fuck you. What's he doing? Fuck you. You all right, dude? No. Hey, pull Chris off.
Worried about the wrong person.
Fuck, dude. Hey, yo, stop. Back the fuck up. Yo, get the fuck out of this city. Get out of the city, bro. Get out of our city. Choke yourself out. We're right here, man.
For what? For what? What? Oh, God, no.
Why are you guys here? Answer questions, bro. Why are you guys here? Do you even have identification on you? Who are you guys? What agents do you guys? Yo, can we see some badge? Who are you guys? Can we
you guys the cops and shut the fuck up.
Are you? Who are you? Yo, why you gotta wear the mask, man? Take your mask off and show me some badge, huh?
You guys are
Bro, it's so easy to be behind the mask. Yo, let's see some badge. Yo, let's see some badge work. Boys, let's see some badge work.
Do I have to answer to you?
You gotta answer to somebody. So wait, so you guys are just masked? We're just masked up?
Who are you?
Who are you guys?
I don't care, my guy.
You don't care what agency?
You don't care.
Bro, what agency you guys with? Are you guys working for the U.S. government or not?
Back the fuck up.
Can I see some badge work?
Back up.
Sir, can I see some badge?
Is the camera on? Is your... Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right? Liberals already ruined it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, can we see some badge work, guys?
His property.
Hey, guys.
already ruined it. No number, no ID, no name.
This is a democratic process. It looks like it. Can we see some badge work?
We already ruined the country.
Hey, man, can we see some badge work before you go?
Can we see some badge numbers?
Hey, sorry.
Get the plates, bro. Get the front plate.
There is no front plate.
Oh, weird.
Oh, so you guys, is this legal? Hey, man, can we see some badge work?
Yeah, can we get your badge number? Here you go, Jack.
Oh, you are.
Okay. You guys with Maryland? You guys, you're Maryland.
Fucking cunts.
That infuriates me. Can you back it up a little bit, Andy? Because I want you guys to hear when he says, you guys heard the liberal part, right? So you know what's up with that. And then he was like, he doesn't care. He doesn't have to give you any identification. They don't have to tell you anything. These people are, they're not going to be held to account. And why the masks? They're afraid of being doxxed. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what they're saying. That's the excuse. That makes no sense. This really pisses me off. This really pisses me off. You know, fuck these guys. This dumb bullshit. I'm telling you. First, play this. I want you to hear them. Let's see.
Okay, can we see some badge work, guys?
His property.
Hey, guys.
already ruined it. No number, no ID, no name.
This is
Back it up a little bit more. Back it up a little bit more. Keep going. There we go. Keep going.
Are you guys working for the U.S. government or not?
Back the fuck up.
Can I see some badge work?
Back up.
Sir, can I see some badge?
Is the camera on?
Someone.
Is your... Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right? Liberals already ruined it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, can we see some badge work, guys?
So, all right, good. So this is this is the person that you elected to be president of the United States, who is condoning this, and who said they can do whatever they want. They can treat the people however they want. There's going to be no accountability. This is the person that wants to give police officers in this country complete immunity. This is a person who has complete immunity from the Supreme Court. Now, again, I don't want to start any violence. Okay? But I'm just going to show you something. First, I'm going to show you something. But producers, just get me the definition of the Second Amendment. Just get it. And then give me a second, and I'm going to just walk you through it. But first, here's a word from our sponsors. Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from 120 Life. I've got a close friend who struggles with high blood pressure. It is scary because half of all adults in this country have it. And it's the #1 risk factor for mortality, by the way. That's not something you can just ignore. But here's the good news. You don't have to rely on Big Pharma. 120 Life is a natural juice blend made with superfruits proven to help lower blood pressure. Doctors trust it, they recommend it, and you can literally track the difference yourself at home with a simple monitor. And it's not just for blood pressure. It can help with conditions like diabetes too. My friend saw real changes within weeks, and it has been life-changing. So right now, you can try 120 risk-free. Go to 120life.com and use the code DON for 20% off. You can see your numbers drop within 2 weeks. If you don't, your money back. This is serious. This is your life. Don't wait. Go to 120life.com, code LEMON. Support comes from Ali. Now, you know me. You know I love my dogs. And I've tried just about every kind of dog food out there. Some of it's filled with fillers, preservatives, and junk, and I wouldn't eat it myself. So why would I give it to them? Ali is different. It's fresh, human grade food made in US kitchens with real ingredients, beef with sweet potatoes, turkey with blueberries. And let me tell you, when I feed it to my dogs, the tails wag, they hop. The excitement is crazy. That's the Ali effect. Better food means a healthier dog, more energy, shinier coats, even better digestion. So honestly, sometimes I think my dog eats better than I do. Well, I know that they do. And Ali goes further. They're the only fresh dog food that includes unlimited routine health screenings. That's peace of mind for you right there. So go to ollie.com/lemon and take a 30-second quiz, and use the code LEMON to get 60% off your first box. Plus, if you're not completely satisfied, they're going to refund you. That's ollie.com/lemon, code LEMON. My dogs love it, and they're healthier for it. Trust me. They are. They do. They love it. Ollie was the first food. Let me just tell you, Ollie, since you're here, when we rescued our dogs, we started with Ollie, and it was amazing. The dogs got really healthy. And then we fostered our little guy that got sick over the holidays, but we fostered him during COVID, and then we eventually adopted him, but he was in such bad shape, and we put him on Ollie, and his coat came back and whatever. He was like 11, I think, when we got him. But anyways, and so we really believe in Ollie. And so Ollie, thank you for sponsoring us. And you guys, Ollie dog food is really the best. It's among the best. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, so look, I'm just telling you, I don't want to start any violence, but I've been speaking to folks, and they're like, this is actually what the Second Amendment was written for. And so that's going to be well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, I sent you a link. I want you to go to that link, please, Andy. And then it's just at the top of that link that I sent you. It is just a general search for the Second Amendment. And I just want you, and then just click on that. If you open it up, let me see it. Let me see it on the screen. There we go. If you open it up and go back to, there you go. Now go to the top. Okay, so look at this. The Second Amendment of the United States Constitution protects the right of people to keep and bear arms, playing a crucial role in both individuals' liberty and the structure of a well-regulated militia. Ratified in 1791, it states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The Supreme Court has affirmed that the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to possess firearms primarily for self-defense in the home. The amendment links the right to the concept of a well-regulated militia, suggesting a connection between individual gun ownership and the collective security of a free state. I'm just saying, do they realize what they're doing? And the Second Amendment people, because if this were Democrats doing this, now imagine if this were Democrats doing this. Let's just say Joe Biden or Barack Obama did this for European people or white people who are perhaps overstaying their visas, which is most of the illegal immigration in this country, people who come over on airplanes. Now, just think if that was happening to that, and they were tackling white people in this country like that, and it was the left. The fucking crazy Second Amendment right people, MAGA brain idiots, would be screaming, look at what they're doing. And they would be out there like you see them with their weapons, marching in streets, in khakis. Jews will not replace us. And you see it. Keep scrolling in the scope of the right. Supreme Court has clarified that the right to bear arms applies to both federal and state local laws. Furthermore, arms encompasses modern weapons, not just those available at the time of founding. Ongoing debate, the interpretation of the application of the Second Amendment remains remain a subject of ongoing debate and legal challenges, particularly regarding the types of weapons covered and the extent of the restrictions that can be placed on gun ownership. This is the concern that they are not weighing, and they don't care. Because why? I think they think, well, the left is not going to do it. They don't like guns or whatever. They don't particularly understand, and they think it is their right to do what they're doing without accountability, without being able, they don't have to answer to anyone. Now imagine if they were doing this, right, in their black neighborhoods, and all of these black homeowners who had the right to carry were out there and they're like, get the fuck off my property. They'd be losing their minds. I'm telling you, I am concerned about the violence. But I believe my layman's knowledge, this is kind of what the Second Amendment was enacted for. You guys can tell me if you think I'm wrong. There's another angle to this video as well. The Washington Post reporter who shot this video, and then others. He wasn't the only one. There were others out there as well, and there are different angles. Here's the other angle.
You all right, dude? No. Hey, pull Chris off. Pull Chris off.
The dragging.
Get out of our city. Choke yourself out. Right here. Turn it.
What agency are you guys with?
Who are you guys? Oh, are you guys the cops? Shut the f*** up. Who are you? Who are you? Take your mask off and show me some badge.
What agency are you guys with?
It's so easy to be behind a mask. Since you guys tell us who you are. Who are you? Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right? Liberals already ruined it.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, can we see some badge work, guys? Hey, guys.
already ruined it.
No number, no ID, no name.
Yeah, and so they put together a couple different angles on that one. Now, what if someone had called that guy a fat piece of shit? I wonder what he would have done. Like if someone had just said, "Yeah, why don't you take off that mask, you fat piece of shit?" Like, what would he have done? Or if he'd said, like, you know, what? Let me see. You want this other person to show their IDs, but you won't identify yourself, because usually there's a badge number, right, in clear view with the officer's name on it, officer such, sergeant such, whatever it is, captain, whatever, with the badge number, right? That's how it normally works. Now, if you were because we figure it's due process and we're about being fair and transparent in this country, and that's what we're supposed to be about, right? So, but you don't have to identify yourself, and you can, not only that, you can wear a mask. Now, these are the people, just remember, these are the people who complain about hijabs and about how other people, what they do for their religion, covering themselves. Oh my gosh, why are they covering their faces? I feel nervous. I feel threatened by that. And these are the same people who didn't want to wear masks during COVID because they just thought it was unconstitutional. And you're restricting my breathing, and it is my right as a free citizen, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And so now it doesn't, none of these things apply as it relates to you. Now, look, I don't know what this gentleman's background is, this man's background that they subdued and put on the ground. I don't know. But what I do know is that this person, whether he is here documented or undocumented, that he deserves due process. And what I will tell you is that for the people who are out there, these people are out there working. This guy is trying to make a living. He's trying to earn some money and make a living with a legit tough job, delivering somebody else's food. And then you have these guys who like, come in or give you a $50,000 bonus, you can do whatever, like doing a legit respectable job. And these goons are out there doing embarrassing. I can't believe that they even would want to do these jobs. How can they sleep at night? How can they even sleep at night? Like, what kinds of people? Why are these people in law enforcement? Why are these people attracted to law enforcement? Shouldn't there be, when you're in law enforcement, shouldn't the screening be like, shouldn't it be so rigorous and so tough that you're not just a roid head or a hothead who's out there going, yeah, the liberals already. Being in law enforcement, it should be a non-partisan job. The liberals, you understand what he's saying. The liberals already did it. So those are the kinds of people that they are hiring to do this. Basically, you are 100% right. Mama Brooks. This is it. Mama Brooke, a white lady, because they are MAGA. They're angry, bigoted, white men. And they look like they need to go to the gym. Do they give them free coffee and donuts in DC, these guys? Or do you have to be a legit police officer for that? Because don't do it. Tell them to go to the Sweet Green and they'll get a free salad. Do you guys understand why I was infuriated? Do you guys understand why I'm so mad about this? This is not right. And the solution, I don't think that there's going to be any solution other than my concern, I should say. This is my concern. My concern is that the solution will be violent, a violent one. It will be a violent one, which is actually quite scary, because when people feel that, when people are desperate and they have no alternatives, it's drastic measures that they turn to. And God, I hope I'm not right, but it's old people be known. I'm telling you, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well, sadly. Representative Eric Swalwell tweeted about the ICE moped scene. He said, I want to be absolutely clear. These masked men roaming around like bank robber bandits will be unmasked in a Democratic majority. Literally and figuratively, there will be accountability for the terror they have brought to our communities. It's all coming out. I hope that he's right, because this is the most drastic Epstein derangement syndrome, that Donald Trump would actually stoop to this level in order to change the narrative about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein, that he is in fact in the Epstein files, that he is in fact, his FBI folks redacted his name from the Epstein files. This is the ultimate Epstein derangement syndrome, to get people to turn away from and to other things. And then of course it's, the Russia Zelensky thing too. Don't talk about Epstein. I got to tell you, at first I was like, I think, okay, they were friends, blah, 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 blah. Did he do anything, And I was like, I don't think so. Maybe he was just friends with him, but I don't think that Donald Trump would do that. And then you go back and you look at all the things that he has said about young girls. I think there was like on the escalators, like a 10-year-old or something, or 13 years, or some underage girl, and he said, I'll be dating her in 10 years or something like that. And the things that he says about his daughter. And then all of those things, it's like, no, I don't know. All of the tactics that he's going through, the antics that he's going through to get people to change the narrative on Epstein, it's weird. And so if you are, we were talking about this at dinner last night, and my mom said something. She goes, look, my mom said, if I was friends with someone and they were in a court case and my name is in there, I would say, look, release it. I don't have anything to hide. Was I friends with that person? Yes. But this is the ultimate, and it's putting citizens' lives in jeopardy, in danger. It's putting citizens' lives in danger. Let's put up the report in the Washington Post, from the Washington Post again. from the very beginning. This is a Washington Post report. Federal officers detain, tackle moped driver amid Trump DC police crackdown. Scroll down just to the reporters who are involved in this. Okay, so Dan Rosenzweig, Ziff, and Katie Metler, Theo Armas, and Emma Uber. Dan Rosenzweig, Ziff, is the main reporter on this, and I believe Dan is the one who took the video. Dan joins us now. Dan, thanks for joining. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing well. We have a little construction here going on at the studio. I'm sure you can hear the knocking, so bear with us. Dan, that was your video, correct? Was that you out there on the street?
Yes.
Dan, what happened? I'm outraged by it. I don't know. People say, I don't know what happened beforehand. I don't know the background of this man, but it just seems unnecessary.
Yeah. So what happened was I was on a run. It was Saturday morning in DC. Turned onto our street around 14th and saw 6 federal officers detaining this man. I got there once it was already taking place, but we later talked to a witness who said that what he saw was there was 2 federal officers waiting outside Bluestone Lane as this delivery driver was going to pick up an order. And when he came out, he noticed them and started kind of running away or walking away. And they started chasing him. And that's kind of when I got there and they took him to the ground. 4 others came to detain him. And there was a physical altercation as they were trying to get him back onto the ground. One officer, another officer kind of pushed the pile to the ground, and one officer hit his head on the way down. I and other witnesses there asked, the officers who they were with, what agency they worked for, if they were with DC police or ICE, and they refused to say to me who they were with. On their way into the car to the witness across the street, one of them flashed an ICE badge, and we later heard from a DHS spokesperson that they were detaining this man who was a Venezuelan national who they said came to this country in 2013 and was ordered to be removed later that year, and had missed some court dates from some traffic crimes. We weren't able to verify any of that, and they didn't respond to our follow-up questions.
Oh, you're muted, Don.
Sorry about that. I was trying to hide the construction here. Did it seem excessive to you in any way? Because the video shows, I don't want you to editorialize, but when you were there, did it seem, was he fighting against them? Was he complying? Like what did it seem like?
Yeah, I don't want to opine on excessive or not excessive, but he, I don't think that, you can see in the video, he wasn't kind of just like relenting to the detention. I think he was probably worried about what was happening. There was some resistance, but the officers also, like, they kind of, once he was on the ground, ripped his helmet off and seemed to strike him. We also saw that as they were trying to get him down, they seemed to use a stun gun to get him onto the ground. And then once they got him into the car, there was a little bit more of an altercation.
So as you are watching this, and because you guys are asking questions, Dan, and the agent said several things. One, they didn't care basically about what the questions they were asking. They didn't have to show their identification. And then one said, when someone in the crowd said, or someone who was videotaping said, "You guys are ruining this country," and he goes, "The liberals already have." Did you hear any of that?
Yes, I heard and saw that. Yeah, that happened, and the other witnesses' video showed that that was the response, and a couple others chimed in too with similar responses.
And what did you think of that?
I don't know. I mean, we have, there's a big focus by the Trump administration to crack down on immigration, and we're seeing an increasingly larger percentage of the arrests happening in in DC from the Trump administration being immigration related. So there seems to be a focus on that. And ICE has been trying to hire more people. But I don't know. We don't know exactly who these people are, and can't say what their priors are before entering.
Well, look, that's the point when you say we don't know who these people are. And the folks who are out there were asking, who are these agents? Who are you with? Why aren't you? And these guys are masked. You live in DC. Most of the people who are watching us, I'm sure there are some folks, but most of the people watching us don't live in Washington, DC. And I'm wondering what it's like where you who live, you said you were coming back from coffee or a gym. I forget exactly where you said.
From a run. Yeah.
From a run. And, you live in this is a nice neighborhood. I think this is a neighborhood where La Dip is, or La Diplomat is, and it's a fairly Tony neighborhood. But that must be unsettling for people who are living in Washington, D.C. And in some ways, I would assume that for people, it feels like sort of occupation where you just have these masked people who aren't identifying themselves out on the streets. And then you turn a corner coming back on a Sunday from a run, and this is all happening right in front of you.
Yeah, just on the mask point, when we talked to DHS, they mentioned this, and what they said, their reasoning.
About the doxing part, that's bullshit. I mean,
What?
because the officers are being doxxed, so they had to cover their faces. Is that what you? Yeah, that's BS.
What they said.
Yeah, that's BS. I mean, look, if you're a public servant and you're a police officer, America is about transparency, and nobody knows the names of these guys and being doxxed. I think that they should, hey, if they want people who are out there documented or not, and even citizens, because we've seen videotape of them asking citizens for their identification sitting on their property, then they should be able to identify themselves like other police officers that has Officer Jordan or Officer Williams or Captain Jones on their badge with their badge number. If you're going to be detaining people and demanding them to show some identification, then you, as a public servant and an officer of the court, should also be able to be identified. How do we know that they are actual agents? There are agents, people who are dressing up now as ICE agents, and they are, quite frankly, doing awful things to women. And that has been well reported. So why don't these guys, why aren't they accountable? Why can't they be transparent like they're asking American citizens to be? So that whole doxing thing makes no sense to me. I can't believe people don't push back on that with, some solid answers, some solid questions.
Mm-hmm. I think to your question about how people in DC are feeling, I think we're increasingly seeing both, as we're walking around the neighborhoods we live in, but also in our reporting, people in DC are very upset about, a lot of people in DC are very upset about what's going on. We had a reporter and a team kind of follow law enforcement over the course of the night on Friday night. And they saw a lot of, residents kind of voicing their anger at law enforcement, telling them to go home, asking them, what are they doing here? I think there's a lot of people fed up. We're seeing, videos all over social media, like the one that I took of the detentions and, of people yelling at the officers asking what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be frightening. Look, I think that what you did was really great reporting. And to have a Washington Post reporter there and witness it, as, some credibility to whatever it turns out to be. And so I'm glad that you were there, Dan. So what's next? You're following up on this story. What do you have?
Yes, we will be following this. This is one incident, but we're going to definitely follow what's going on, where it goes next, who this guy was, what's happening, how the community of food delivery drivers are responding. For people who live in DC, kind of the areas where a lot of the delivery workers congregate and wait for pickup are empty, and it seems like they aren't going out. They're seeing things like this. So we're going to follow up on reporting and see if we can explore further what's happening.
And just from being around, I know this is your unscientific survey. I'm going to ask you, what does a public sentiment seem to be like there for what's happening? Because I know that obviously folks in DC, in any big city, they want to get a handle on crime because every big city has a crime problem, right? Crime is actually down in DC. But what is a public sentiment for these folks being out there? I think you talked about it a little bit, but how do people really feel?
I mean, I think, like you said, I think that there are, from our reporting, there are people that are fed up with crime in DC, that, in certain neighborhoods feel unsafe and, want, you know, to see more safety, more policing in those neighborhoods. That's some people. Um, but I think there's also people, and there's also people who are, worried about what's going on. In the food delivery driver group chats, this video is sent around, and people are nervous to go outside, or to undergo a similar fate. So I think there's both. There are people worried about crime, but also worried about what's going on with the federal officers.
Yeah, maybe not your bailiwick. What happened with Sandwich Guy? Any updates on him?
I have not been reporting on Sandwich Guy, so I don't. Last I think I saw, he was released, and I don't know what's. I wish I knew more, but
you're not covering. I get it.
I haven't been covering that.
You're focused on other things. Dan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you reporting that. I appreciate you coming on. I understand the position that you're in because you are a citizen, you witnessed it, but you're also reporting it, so you have to remain neutral. Trust me, I get it. So Dan Rosenzweig, Zip, thank you, of the Washington Post. Please come back. We loved having you on, and our elimination also liked you as well because they're putting comments. They're saying great reporting, Dan. Dan, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Pleasure.
So here's the thing that is real here. Okay. And that is these folks have to be really a lot more careful than we do. Because remember, the Washington Post is Bezos. So, I'm just saying, Dan did a good job, but Dan is doing what he has to do in order to stay gainfully employed. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm sure there's a lot more that he'd like to say, but he's got to keep it there. So the whole thing, when I talked to him about, they said that, they are wearing masks because they're being doxxed. That's bullshit. And so if I was there, I'd be like, I would say exactly what I said. But I'm not there covering this, and I'm not, in a press briefing with the police to talk about this. That's all real BS. Dan has bills to pay. You're right about that. Reporting in times of racism, you got to be really careful. And so we know what's up. You guys know what's happening. These are jackbooted thugs. This is MAGA. These folks are MAGA. And you don't have to, and that they are bigoted, conservative, MAGA, frustrated white men. The guy said it. Liberals are already doing it. Do you have to? Is that anything else? Now imagine if a police officer, if anybody said conservatives are ruining this country or MAGA is ruining this country, they would fucking lose their minds. Oh my gosh, why do we need to do this with the police? You guys know what I'm saying. It's complete and total bullshit and hypocrisy. Okay? Did I get my second ad break in? I did not, did I?
No, not yet.
Okay, I got a lot more to talk about. First, a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Mint Mobile. You know what doesn't belong in your summer plans? Getting burned by a huge wireless bill while you're out enjoying beach trips, barbecues, long weekends. Your cell phone shouldn't be holding you back. Man, don't you love the summer? That's why people are switching to Mint Mobile. You get the same coverage and speed that you're used to, but for far less money. For a limited time, Mint is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month. Now, my own team has tried Mint Mobile, and the verdict is in. Crystal clear calls, reliable service, unlimited data, and the quality is identical to the big carriers. So don't sweat it this summer. Don't break the bank either. Get your new unlimited plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/DonLemon. That's mintmobile.com/DonLemon. Support comes from Beam, B-E-A-M. Now, summer may be winding down, but life hasn't slowed down one bit at all. The news cycle is relentless and noise is constant and burnout is real. And that's not an accident because when you're exhausted, well, we're easier to control, right? That's why rest is resistance. And that's why I use Beam's Dream Powder. It is a natural sleep blend that helps me fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up ready to go. With ingredients like reishi, magnesium L-theanine, and melatonin, Dream restores me without the fog or crash. Since I started using it, I've been sharper, been more grounded, more present, and I'm not alone. Beam has improved over 17 million nights of sleep for people all across the country. And it tastes great. It's smooth. It's delicious. And part of my nightly routine now. Right now, Beam is offering up to 40% off its Dream Powder for my listeners. So go to beam.com/lemon and use the code LEMON to get up to 40% off. Sleep well, wake up ready. The fight continues. Beam, B-E-A-M. Thanks to our sponsors. All right. You know, just because I could hear that, I told Dan, the reporter, like, you know, pardon us because we're improving with situation in the studio. And we're getting there's construction going on. Do you remember? Was it Lawrence O'Donnell? Do you guys remember that when he's like, "Stop the hammering"? I feel for you, Lawrence, when you said, "Stop the hammering." It does. It's a little bit disconcerting. Oh, Pam says she loves Beam. Thank you, Pam. I'm so glad that you love Beam. Okay, so you guys understand the frustration, and that's why you need to support independent media. I think Dan has a great job. I think Dan is a great reporter. Can you imagine if Dan was an independent journalist, the shit that he could say rather than he's like, I got to, you know, there. I'm sure. Here's what I think would happen with Dan. And again, no slight on Dan. We love Dan. He's doing a great job. But it was like, yes, you can go and do Don Lemon's show. Stick to the reporting. Don't editorialize. Stick to the facts and just stick to your reporting. I know this. I've been around for a long time. I know exactly what happened. And so, and Dan is doing that because I've been in that position and the same thing. And also, well, this is not Dan. I have had to do this. Well, you know, you said Donald Trump was bad, but isn't Joe Biden doing something bad too? Let's find something bad that Joe Biden is doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and that's problematic. That's the problem with journalism today. Mainstream journalism, traditional media, linear television, corporate, let's just say corporate media, corporate journalism. That's the issue with it. Now, they do some really great things. CNN's international coverage is spectacular. But even now, that is sort of, there's some political leanings there as well, right? Especially since you consider what's happening in the whole world. But I mean, you cannot, CNN's international coverage is wonderful. Obviously, the BBC is great, but that's not an American institution. And then I'm going to tell you what's happening with MSNBC in moments, because that is a little interesting. I didn't say it's bad, but I just want to tell you. But first of all, so we have heard from the reporter who was there, and I'm sure there were others, and other reporters are going to be talking about it. I want you to hear from the people. And I like to hear from people in social media, because I do believe that they are kind of the pulse of the people, right? Without going out to talk to them, they bring it to you. And also, you heard Dan talk about there's an issue with the delivery drivers. Among their chats, in their groups, they are alerting people, and they're trying to keep everyone safe. So this is a TikToker. His name is Tyler, and he's describing his Uber Eats delivery man also getting detained. This is another person, not the one in the video. Watch.
Yesterday, my Uber Eats driver got arrested by ICE while he was delivering my food. I walked downstairs to pick it up, and I noticed his location hadn't changed in like 2 or 3 minutes, and he was like 2 or 3 blocks away from my house. I stepped into the street, and I saw police lights, and I thought maybe he got into an accident, so I walked down to see if I could help him in any way. I then realized that he was being questioned by like 8 or 9 ICE officers, and they were asking about his moped specifically. They said they pulled him over because his plate didn't run under their system correctly or something like that. They then out loud admitted that they were wrong and that there was nothing wrong with his moped, there was nothing wrong with his insurance, his license, or his registration, but he spoke Arabic and not English, and he couldn't explain when he got into the country, so they detained him anyways, and I'll post the video right here.
He doesn't understand what you're saying, bro.
Understand what you're saying.
Just use Google Translate on your phone. It takes 2 seconds.
They don't know what Google Translator is.
This is ridiculous. Better things to do than harass Uber Eats drivers. Minding his business, trying to make a living.
Seriously, is this what we want to do? Do we really want to harass Uber Eats drivers? Come on. Seriously, this is what we want. And for what? Tell me, for what? For what? I want you guys to just go around wherever you are. I want you to just go around. I want you to take a look at, and just for me, and if you're in here and you're a MAGA, if you're a troll, because I know there are lots of trolls, and we love the trolls. The trolls help us out. They increase the algorithm for us. Thank you, trolls. And make sure you subscribe as well. You can learn some shit. So I want you to think about this. So I want you to go around and just do it. Just come back at 5 o'clock if you happen to go around today. Go around. Look at the people who are delivering the food. The guys you see on the bikes. And if you're in New York or in a big city, a lot of them are on e-bikes now because and the e-bikes help them because they can do more deliveries, so they can make more money. Okay. Now go see who's doing that. And then I want you to walk around to a construction site and look at who's doing the construction. Now just look at it. And I want you to go on, if you are on a construction site, like on a home construction site or a building construction site, and then also on the street, like who's doing the blacktop and going in the manholes. I just want you to look, right? There are some white guys and there are some black guys in there, but just look. And then I just want you to do a survey and look at who is doing what. Now I want you to go to, when you're in a hotel or in a restaurant, when you're in a hotel, look who's coming to your room to tidy up for you. Look who's the staff in the hallway when you're like, oh, the elevator, and you're like, oh, hold on, and you got the mop sign there in the elevator and you can't enter. Look who's doing the mopping. And then I just want you to just walk around and look. Go to the restaurant and look. Just peep back in the kitchen if you can, especially if it's like an open. If you're in a diner, just look back there. Just look. Now, and I want you to go around your neighborhood. If you happen to be in a neighborhood where people have lawns, some people use lawn services, or if you're in a, maybe there's a business that has lawn services, I just want you to go look at the people who are doing the work. Just go look. And if you live in a place where there are farms in America, I just want you to go and look at who's working those fields. Now, who is it? You know who it is, but I want you to come back and I want you to tell me who's doing it. All day in my neighborhood, I've watched someone put a roof on a house. All day in the hot sun. In one of the hottest days of the year, they're up on that roof and they're working all day. And they come back the next day, they're working all day. You know what they were. You know what they look like. So who are you going to get to do these fucking jobs, idiots? Why aren't you trying to figure out how to incorporate people who are trying to be here and earn a living for their families? Why aren't you trying to incorporate them in society? And most of these people, honestly, and don't fall for the bullshit hype, they are paying money into the tax system and they're getting nothing out. They can't even get things out of it because they're undocumented, a lot of these people. So why aren't you trying to work with them instead of proving some dumb freaking racist point that you think that these people are taking your jobs? How many fat white guys do you see up on a roof now? Red, ruddy. How many? How many? When your contractor comes or whatever it is, when you see people, maybe you put an addition on, maybe you're putting a fence up, maybe you're doing whatever. Who is doing the work? Maybe the guy who's driving around in the big white truck with all the tools in it, maybe he's a white guy because he owns the company. But more and more, I'm seeing the guy who owns the company now is a Latino guy. And you know what? More power to him because he's working his fucking ass off and he deserves it. But maybe you see the white guy comes over, he does the thing. Okay, let me tell you, Mr. Lemon, you're going to need this hump. Yeah, I'm going to get to, and I can have your fence done by Thursday. And then all of a sudden, but I'll need the check on Wednesday because I need to buy the supplies. Okay, and then Wednesday the supplies come, okay? And then Thursday, when the workers come, you're like, damn, all the workers are Latino, and I'm not the only one. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know I'm not lying. So then, what is the point of stopping Uber drivers or DoorDash or whatever it might be right now? What is the point of harassing these people and throwing them to the ground? And what they're doing, they're also doing it to people who have no agency. They don't even understand what they're saying. And so even if you want to add transparency to it by putting them on television to try to explain what is going on, whatever, they don't speak the language. So then what are we doing? Because you're never ever going to stop immigration. in this country, especially immigration from the southern border. You're not going to stop it from Europe because people come over here and they know how to game the system. Get a work visa, I'm white, I can do that, and then I'll just overstay my visa until I don't have to anymore. And that's okay. But no one's going to deal with that. Nobody cares. Until they heard about the H-1B visa folks and they found out that those were mostly brown folks, like Indian people from India. They're like, oh, the racist MAGA people, they didn't like that. So why aren't we trying to figure this out where it helps everybody? Because you're not going to stop immigration from the southern border. You know why? It's so simple. It's proximity. It's right here. If Norway or whatever, I don't know, if some European country, the Caucasus, whatever, was right next door to us, those people would be coming over the border too. If the conditions in their country were the way that they are now. Do you understand what I'm saying, people? So you're never going to stop it because of proximity. So you should be trying to fix it and not close it. No, you don't want people pouring across the border unaccounted for, any of that stuff. Yes, there are issues with our immigration system. Yes, the southern border could have been handled better under Biden. All of that. That is all true. But you are right. Reigning Queen, 1975. This country would collapse without the black and brown people, the workers in this country. Facts. That is facts. So go and look today, and you tell me who's doing the work. Okay? Here is Kathy. Expands on this guy Tyler's account. Here it is.
Not because his plate was wrong, and then admitted you were wrong and proceeded to follow up with questioning.
So y'all need to go back and watch the other parts of his video. But his delivery driver was detained and arrested in front of his house this morning. The officers that pulled him over said that his moped had incorrect plates. And then it turns out their system was just not working right and his plates were correct. They then questioned him about his immigration status, and he had papers documenting his legal status in this country. They put him in leg irons and handcuffs and chained both of them together like around his waist. They took his moped. He's here legally. He was delivering food. He was working. He was not committing crimes. And they arrested him anyway. Or at least, I don't say arrested. They took him away in shackles all the way around. This is what's happening in D.C. This is it.
Yes. So that's what's happening. Now, look, this, Shelley, this is a generalization. No one is saying, Shelley's saying, I'm not against anyone coming to America. However, acting like there aren't white, hardworking construction workers isn't right. When you say there aren't any, I said, look at the majority of the people who are out there. Look at most of the people who are out there. These used to be jobs that it used to be white and black dudes out there. That ain't not just them anymore. And I'm just being good. Go look. You guys, if you think I'm wrong, let me know. Of course, there are people of all ethnicities out there hardworking. Black, white, Asian, all ethnicities. Latino. You're missing the point. You're missing the point of what I'm saying. America is evolving, changing, the demographics, the workforce. No matter how you try to tamp it down or go back, we're not going, okay, look. We're not going back to the 1950s. We're not going back to the 1960s. We're not going back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, or even the aughts, the 2000s. The world is changing. America's changing. Deal with it. Accept it before it destroys you. And that's what is going to happen for us. Accept it before it destroys you. You may not like, oh my gosh, you're Latino, they're taking over. The people have been saying that California, they're taking over. They're taking over. Yeah. And by the way, the Mexicans were here before us. That's like when people go swim in the ocean, they're like, why are these sharks out here? Because they live there. Why are these Mexicans here? Because they were here before us. We pushed them out. The border crossed them. Just remember that history. We're not going back to any of that. And that's the problem. You keep trying to go back, make America great again for when? It's outrageous. The is this the Washington Post or the USA Today? Trump is killing DC restaurants and bars. So all of this stuff that's happening, put up the headline. Oh, this is WUSA 9 in I guess it's in DC. Reservations plunge across DC restaurants after Trump's police takeover. Online reservations dropped more than 25% in the days following President Trump's announcement that he was federalizing DC police, according to OpenTable data. So people are like, I don't want to go out. That's what I was trying to get at with Zach. What was his name? Was his name Zach? No, his name was Dan.
Dan.
That's what I was trying to get at with Dan. Is that this is hurting Washington, D.C. The public sentiment in D.C. is not for this. So look at this. And D.C. is a big eating out town. Lots of folks like to eat outside. The weather's warm there, longer than it is further up the East Coast. Scroll down a little bit and let's see what they're saying here. Restaurants saw more than a 25% drop in diners the days following President Donald Trump's takeover of the city's police department, according to WSA 9 analysis of reservation numbers. On Monday, the day Trump announced that he would invoke the D.C. Home Rule Act and federalize the city's police department, for the first time in history, online reservations in the district dropped by 16% compared to the same data in 2024. According to data from OpenTable, on Tuesday, as the National Guard began being mobilized in the district, reservations were 27% below their 2024 levels. On Wednesday, they were down 31%. Danya Green says, I live in DC and tourism is down. It's obvious when you're out driving around the city. Now, how do you square that circle when you're going to kill the businesses and the business owners? Not only are you going to kill them with reservations, but then you're trying to get rid of the workers who are really keeping the business going. You ever try to, do you know anyone who owns a restaurant? Or have you ever worked at a restaurant? Do you know how hard it is to get employees? Do you know how hard it is to run a restaurant? Do you know how hard it is to hire people? It's crazy. South Park. You got to love South Park. They did an ICE recruitment ad, and these are the kinds of folks who are out there doing what you've been seeing playing out in DC. Here it is.
Are you looking for a new career? Why not join the ICE? We have jobs available now with up to a $50,000 signing bonus. Signing bonus? We don't ask for experience. Just show up. We don't care if you've read a book or grown up. If you're crazy or fat and lazy, we don't care at all.
I'm proud to work for the ICE.
Immigration and customs enforcement. If you need a job, it's a job to
have. You don't have to read a book. You don't need experience. You don't need a degree. You don't need anything. To be a jackbooted thug. You don't need it. Okay. Owen, it's true. It is 100% true. And on that note, this is the whole point. You remember the sandwich guy I asked about? So take a look at this cartoon because it's true. So think about it. There should be a moped food delivery guy out there, right? So these folks, now remember, being here as an undocumented person is not a felony. It's not even as serious as what Donald Trump was convicted for 34 times. Not at all. So if you are a moped person or whatever, if you're out there and you're delivering food and you're undocumented, okay, that's not a felony. But look at the people. Guess the penalty. So for beating up police officers with flagpoles and pepper spray and all that stuff, it's a felony and then you get a pardon. Okay? So then what happens if you throw a sandwich at someone? It is a felony, and do you get a pardon? Which one looks more serious to you? This is how ridiculous it is. Except I don't think the guy who threw the sandwich is going to get a pardon. They want to make an example out of him. I'm telling you, I'm concerned about the possibility of violence and that these people are inciting violence. There are better ways to do this. And just remember what I said about the Second Amendment. Second Amendment of the United States Constitution protects the right of the people to keep and bear arms, playing a crucial role in both individual liberties and the structure of a well-regulated militia. Ratified in 1791, it states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Believe that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. Okay? By the way, so speaking of media establishment, we'll report you decide as Fox, is it Fox Propaganda, Fox News used to say. MSNBC is getting a name change. According to Seong-Min Kim, this is the Associated Press, television's MSNBC network is changing its name to My Source News Opinion World, or MS. No, I'm sorry. MS Now for short. Now, is this real? My Source News Opinion World. Is this real or is this fake? I don't know. Is that real? Do we know if that's true?
Yes. Sungmin Kim is a very established.
And then this is
reputable
Brian
reporter.
Stelter. You never know what's true now. A cable news channel, MSNBC, splits up with NBC. It's also dropping the NBC from the name. Later this year, it will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. And the full story from Brian Stelter. I like to call Brian Stetler. It's interesting that the MS, and Peter, you mentioned this, it's interesting that the Microsoft lasted longer than the NBC.
Yeah, and what's curious, Don, is right. Microsoft has had no stake in MSNBC for
decade.
I was going to say over a decade now, but they kept the MS. So I am just a little befuddled as to why now they're separating from NBC. They need to lose the NBC. It just seems bizarre to me.
Yes, and they're still going to use NBC reporters, correspondents, and resources, right?
Correct.
But they're just not tied to them. I don't know if they, or maybe they're going to pull away from that. And maybe they'll be, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? But
I mean, it could be, look, this is me not necessarily putting on a tinfoil hat, but this is just me speculating. It could be perhaps that NBC Universal and the suits there recognize the threats that Trump has issued towards more liberal leaning, or not even just liberal leaning, but just legitimate news institutions who have
fact-based news institutions.
Correct. Took the words right out of my mouth. The threats that Trump has posed to fact-based news organizations and the suits at NBC are saying we don't want that happening to us, and so they're perhaps forcing MSNBC to really separate itself and differentiate itself from the company.
Do you think it could be good for MSNBC? Maybe, perhaps, only if. I wonder if it can be, because maybe they'll have more freedom. Maybe they have more autonomy to do whatever they want and actually do the facts. Not that they don't do the facts now, but and not having to worry about, well, the bosses over at the NBC and the Comcast are going to be mad at me. Perhaps maybe now they can just kind of do their thing. I wonder.
Maybe. Yeah, I do. It leaves me wondering if this had happened a year or two ago, would Mehdi have even been pushed out as he was?
Yeah.
And Joy, as you alluded to a second ago. I don't know.
Interesting. So is this the actual graphic? This MS Now?
Correct. There was someone who joked a second ago. It kind of looks like KMS Now. Some folks in the chat might know what KMS means. It's unalive myself now.
Ooh, no. This logo is very Fox Newsy.
I was gonna say the same thing.
It's very right wing News Nation. What is it called? News. What's the other one? News Max. It's very like red, white, and blue America.
We were joking on the editorial call that who knows, maybe MS Now will follow the HBO model and change their name a dozen times until they finally end up with MS-13.
I was going to say MS. Well, he maybe did say that. We did say, well, Trump's just going to call him MS-13. But this is what interesting times we're in, everyone. So, guys, if you're out there, weigh in. But do you guys like this logo? I'm just saying, look, I like the people on MSNBC. I was on Ari Melber, and I'm gonna play some of it a little bit later. But I don't know. Tell me if you like it. But I think it's a very interesting time that we're in now. And so what happens? What do you think happens to the MSs and the CNNs of the world right now? Maybe I should be asking Oliver Darcy that, but Peter, you and I worked in cable. I mean, I worked in it forever. But what do you think happens? This is an inflection point, I believe, because they spun off MSNBC to, what do they call it? Spinco, right? And they have now spun CNN off to, I don't know the name of the company, but it's no longer WBD. It's like an offshoot of WBD or something like that, or Warner Brothers. I forget. I don't know. But now they're in a spinoff too. So are they going to like sell them for parts soon? Like, what do you think happens?
I can look into trying to find a guest for this evening, but I believe there was a Semaphore report the other day, and the thrust of it was, in effect, no one wants to own media companies anymore. Not only because they're not as lucrative.
It's a diminishing asset. It's a diminishing asset. But go on.
Yes, it's no longer, or rather, they are no longer as lucrative as they used to be. And
still make a lot of money. They still make hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then when you couple that with the hot water they will put you in with the Trump administration, you know, if you look at Sherry Redstone, if you look at Warner Brothers, there's just example after example of folks not wanting to hold on to these institutions anymore. It's really quite sad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, guys. So I think that's it. I think that's it for us today, except for if you want to know anything about our program, all you got to do is click on donlemon.com. Look at that. Who is that handsome gentleman right there? Although that was probably 10 pounds ago. Right now. Yeah. Woof, Don. You got to cut back on the margs and the ice cream and whatever for the summer. Anyways, even though I'm not a huge fan of ice cream, I don't know why I've been eating it. Okay, so if you want to know anything about the show, check it out. And you can watch, if you hit the watch button on the screen, there you go. You will see where you can go. That's our YouTube channel. You can go and hit the subscribe button, hit the join. Make sure you do it because it's important to us that we stay viable out here in these streaming streets. So you must become a member to support us. So thank you all. And then subscribe. The subscriptions are free. And that's all I'm saying. You can also go to our merch store if you want to know where I got this fancy hat. It's in our merch store. You want to know where I got this fancy hat? And whatever you guys wanted the merch, I said no for like a year. And then, okay, finally I did it. And it was like, it's going crazy. I wore the socks the other day. I love them. They're thick and delicious and warm. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much. I'm going to see you back here at 5 o'clock. Also, check out what we're going to do a little bit later on today. I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you my appearance on MSNBC and then talk about it so that you guys know what's up. And it's kind of sort of similar to what we're talking about right now, which is the MSNBC name change. Crazy. Okay, so until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern, you can be informed without being inundated. Whatever platform you're on, follow us. We're going to be back here live 5 p.m. Eastern time for Lemon Live at 5. So until then, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will